Hello, dear friends. I am aware that this is a sensitive issue because it clashes with the religious beliefs of some humankind. But with the utmost respect, all sources indicate that the top of the pyramid would have been truncated. Opinion piece. Did Lucifer die? So it was announced in 2012. Other would come from chaos. Is the rebellion of evil over? This has gone too far. No one could have imagined this nightmare. All resistance from evil would be futile. This would be a comedy hard to predict. The bell rings loud because it is empty. The left-hand path is cut off. Is Lucifer's tomb in a Hindu temple? No one dares to open the sealed temple door. Alberto Canosa claims he has the power to open it. Humankind now heading into uncharted waters. Ashtar claims financial restart would happen this year. Alexa says World War would begin on November 23rd, 2023. Let's start. On 14th June 2012, a message from Esu by Chris Michael Atom through Jess Anthony, posted on Mrs. Candice Free's Abundant Hope website, which I then disseminated on the networks, conveyed the following statement in quotes. The rebellion of those who thought they were led by Satan and Lucifer has ended. Lucifer no longer exists, and the remnants of his followers on earth are leaderless. They worship nothing and follow rituals that have no power to make any lasting change. Close quotes. On 31st March 2019, another message from Christ Michael Aton said that Lucifer himself could scarcely imagine the depth of degradation his error would cause and the consequences for evolutionary sons and daughters that would reverberate through numerous systems and constellations. No one could imagine the extent to which this nightmare drama would unfold over creation. I highlight two paragraphs from this message, in quotes. I came to Earth 2,000 years ago with Christ Michael Aton to begin the change that would manifest in what has transpired. The forces of Earth fought against this change from the beginning. The humankind in their forgetfulness lost awareness of the force that created their resistance. He looked for what was there all time without the recognition of its ability. They turned to alternatives that prevented him from discovering the spiritual plan of his creator, of their creator. The time of misguided seeking is over. The truth will be told to the humankind, and Christ Michael will reveal his presence. Humankind will not yet want to believe this message, so a context has been planned to reinforce this teaching. The light will come from unimposed darkness. Order will come out from chaos and uncertainty. Humankind will be separated from much of what they have come to value. This will cause fear and panic. Close quotes. Coincidence. On June 6, 2022, Benjamin Fulford said that Satan has returned to the original creation and has received absolution. Recently, a member of the coalition handed a handwritten note to a high-ranking Jesuit that said, in quotes, Satan has returned to the original creation and has received absolution. Thank you for keeping the candle burning all these long years. Close quotes. The coalition has received information that Satan was defeated years ago, and What we are now seeing happening all over the web planet is a cleansing operation to eliminate his local field agents. This doesn't mean that the battle is over yet. That's why journalist Alex Newman says that at this point the elite realize that if they don't move very quickly, they are going to lose everything. They may end up facing real accountability. I think we are now in a very dangerous situation. We can only be confident when we see Nuremberg-type tribunals in all the networks. According to Full Thought, the losers met in Washington last weekend to discuss their defeat. They were allowed to meet so they could monitor them and identify more of their secret handlers, say sources from 2-3 letters agencies. We can also see that the so-called leaders are afraid of their own police and military. For example, Biden is afraid of the Border Patrol. He asked them to disarm before greeting him. So, instead, the Border Patrol wing decided not to greet him and went home. Humankind is heading into uncharted waters and needs a force to protect us. Lucifer's tomb. In Kerala, India, the Padmanabhaswamy temple, the richest in the world, holds a great secret inside. The famous German-Spanish researcher Alberto Canosa revealed some time ago that Lucifer's tomb is behind the mysterious seventh secret and sealed door of the Hindu temple of Padmanabhaswamy, and that he has the magical power to open it. The Hindu temple of Padmanabhaswamy has 7 vaults. 6 were opened and found treasures worth around $18 billion. The enigma lies behind the iron door, guarded by 2 giant cobras that no one dares to open for fear of a curse. At Padmanabhaswamy, there are 7 vaults in total, 6 of which have already been opened. In 2011, the Supreme Court initiated proceedings to open all the vaults and found, among other treasures, gold objects, diamonds, emeralds, rubies, crowns, and even precious metal chains estimated worth around $22 billion. However, the contents of Vault B, as it is commonly called, are still a mystery. There are several reasons which it remains closed. For one, the door is made of steel, of an unknown thickness, and has no obvious device such as locks or latches, a button or a mechanism with nuts or bolts, as did the other 6. The other reason is more legendary. The famous steel door is said to be protected by 2 giant cobras. According to local mythology, this is interpreted as an omen that disaster would befall anyone who dared to open it. It is believed that the door was sealed by the sound waves of a secret chant lost in time. The monks who guard the door claim that it cannot be opened by any means or by anyone at that. In fact, there is currently no one in India or the world who can open it. According to them, it could only be opened by a highly powerful holy man like the ancient Siddha-Purushas or yogis, through the chanting of sacred mantras. The wise custodians want that opening it with modern technology would unleash not only a personal tragedy for the author, but also a natural disaster that would strike the planet. There are many who speculate that the contents of the mysterious chamber go far beyond material wealth, and they are asserting that the contents of the antechamber of Vault B alone would far exceed the amount of gold and diamonds found in the other chambers. Legend has it had that beyond Chamber B, There is another inner chamber built with thick walls of solid gold, and it is there that the great enigma is hidden, because apparently it contains the greatest non-material treasure discovered in the history of the world. It is possible that it is the knowledge possessed by the serpent gods forbidden to mere mortals. Is there a secret in there that humankind should not or is not yet ready to know? Or does it contain an enormous fortune that could alleviate much of India's problems? Definitions. I know that many will tell me that Lucifer and Satan are two different beings, but I am going to rely on dictionary definitions. A Lucifer is a proud, angry, evil man, a wicked person, and to give oneself to Satan means to become irritated, enraged, despairing. Luciferism is an esoteric doctrine that revolves around the Roman god Lucifer, who in turn is considered to be the bearer of the light of the intellect. Luciferism disavows Satanism and claims that Lucifer and Satan are not the same entity, but some satanic organizations consider themselves to be Luciferian. Luciferianism was an early doctrine of Christian Gnosticism that promulgated that Jesus was the son of Lucifer, while the demiurge, the god of evil and creator of the material universe according to Gnostic tradition, was the true god of the Jews. Luciferian theists are followers of the left-hand path and have different dogmas that focus on ceremonial magic. The devil is the personification of evil as conceived in various cultures and religious traditions. It is seen as the objectification of a hostile and destructive force. Historically, in many contexts and cultures, he is given different names: Satan, Lucifer, Beelzebub, Mephistopheles, Luzbel, or Baphomet. In the Christian tradition, Lucifer represents the fallen angel, an example of beauty and intelligence whose pride caused him to lose his position in heaven, becoming Satan according to Isaiah 14. In Christianity, a fallen angel is an angel who has been expelled from heaven for disobeying or rebelling against God's commands. These, according to Christianity, were expelled from heaven by having their wings torn off. The term translated as Lucifer means shining, light bearer, but since he turned against God, it is believed that his name was changed to Satan, although this name means opponent, adversary, and accuser. There is also the name Satan, which means Azael, but his more common name is the devil. The light he carries is deceptive, reddish and greenish, like the light of the Matrix. The book of Genesis shows him as the serpent who deceives humans by inciting them not to follow the precepts laid down by the Creator. Revelation indicates that because of Christ's sacrifice and the faithfulness of his followers, the devil and the other rebellious angels were confined to earth for good, this time with no possibility of return. The Archangel Michael is in charge of expelling Satan, and the part of the rebellious angels he dragged with him from heaven, which is why he is called the fallen angel. Catholics, in their catechism, consider that the devil and the other demons were created by God with a good nature, but they made themselves evil, and that this fall consists in the free choice of these spirits who radically and irrevocably rejected God and his kingdom. In other words, for Catholics, Lucifer condemned himself by voluntarily choosing evil, and the choices of angels, whether good or evil, are irrevocable. Satan, in Hebrew adversary, in Arabic shaitan or evil and distant way, in Abrahamic relations is a negative entity that seduces humans into sin or falsehood. In Christianity and Islam, he is generally seen as a fallen angel who used to possess great piety and beauty, yet ended up rebelling against God, for which he was banished to hell, becoming the rather and leading opponent of the kingdom of God. In Judaism, Satan is seen as a metaphor for the evil inclination. In the Christian faith, Satan is primarily an accuser and adversary, an entity possessing evil qualities. He is the antagonist in the Revelation readings and the one who sought to tempt Jesus Christ in the wilderness. News from the reset. Ashtar says it will happen this year. Second, he adds that the censorship was overturned by the QFS. Third, the new God will replace the old God. Fourth, there is something to hope for rather than something to fear. 5. Ray thinks we can fix this planet in 30 days. 6. The arrests would happen after the November elections. 7. Nations and their white hats have been put on high alert. 8. The new political system would be based on voting for issues, not for corruptible individuals. 9. There seem to be a lot of people who want to go around that corner and witness what's there. 10. It's time for everyone to know their cosmic origins, according to Ismael Perez. 11. This is a hard comedy to predict, but the bell rings loud because it's empty. 12. This sucks because we have an inordinate amount of righteous indignation, unlike the sheep who live in the matrix and think everything is normal. 13. The dark side is trying to create a war, create chaos, and bring in a new internet that would need passports and control connected banks, personal data, and health passes. 14. The agenda of the Great Reset has always been to crash the markets and then bring in a global digital currency tracking system, along with a world government. 15. The coalition's financial restart agenda is to replace fiat currencies with gold-backed banknotes and assets in a one-to-one relationship with each other, and thereby stabilize the global financial system. 16. ISO 18, 19, and 20 standards established true accountability and tradability for digital currency. 17. The Fed changed the banking rules after 2008. No bailouts next time. 18. We are heading to the final stage as this needs to give way and allow this blessing to be released at any time. 19. Once this is released, it will cause a domino effect that would bring freedom. Bad news. First, Wall Street suffers its worst week in months due to high inflation. Second, a parallel economy is emerging and wreaking havoc on the system, according to Bill Holter. Third, George Soros announces a plan to shut down Fox News for good. 4. Earthquakes in central China leave 26,000 people affected so far. 5. The need for renewable energy may make the European Union dependent on China. 6. The next 2 weeks by Goldilocks. Over the next 2.5 weeks, we are going to see a huge transfer of wealth within the digital economy, and the open market. Liquidity will be transferred into new hands and new pockets. On 17th June, options contracts expire. Traders will have the option to continue with the trades they are in or buy new opportunities elsewhere in the markets. This is a week of planning, execution, and positioning of many investors. During this time, upgrades to the new digital banking system will be completed. Look for the new liquidity to move the new digital financial system backed by real assets, such as commodities, to support this new growth. Opinion. Catherine Austin Fitz on the financial war, in quotes. So, they have been engaged in the financial coup for 20 years. Now we are coming to the end game. They have to consolidate the financial coup, and they vote for the direct restart. And with that one decision, they made a decision over the next year to put 500 million people out of work. Close quotes. Second, Jim Wiley believes that the supply chain crisis is due to the default on treasury bonds. Countries around the world are dumping their bonds, and the Fed will have to redeem them. South Korea, France, Germany, Thailand, and many more are not exporting because they don't want the dollar that is traded using treasury bonds as a vehicle. So, you have ships out of Los Angeles not coming into port. Third, in fact, the rout in the bond markets is so severe that double-digit losses are the norm, and this is not an opinion but news. 4. In his view, the sanctions have accelerated the formation of the Eurasian trade zone, born out of the BRICS, and now Saudi Arabia and Argentina want to join. Because of the sanctions, the BRICS nations are expanding into the new nations of the Eurasian trade zone. In Iran, Saudi Arabia, and the United Arab Emirates get along, let them lay down their arms and develop trade because the whole Gulf region would prosper and form a great platform. 5. Our mind is extremely powerful, and the words we think and speak and what we visualize created the life we are living today. You have heard the expression, in quotes, "What I feared most has come upon me in a great way," and that is a true principle of life and a law of the universe. 6. Message from Anne and the Angels. In the world today, many of you have been shaken, disturbed and saddened by the seemingly random acts of violence that have erupted in the hearts of the wounded. Trust is not a blind faith in the outside world, nor a blind faith in another soul. Trust is instead a byproduct of your own connection to the divine. In a higher environment, you can trust yourself if you choose to exist in a loving frequency. Europe. First, hundreds of the firefighters are working to put out several fires in southern France. Second, extreme temperatures in Seville of up to 45 degrees Celsius this week. Americas. First, 20 American countries coordinate to reduce irregular migration. Second, the migrant caravan broke up in southern Mexico, but it's still on its way. Third, Ecuador joins Costa Rica, Panama, and the Dominican Republic in a development partnership. Fourth, the memory of Cuba, Venezuela, and Nicaragua overshadows the 9th Summit of the Americas. 5. Bukele says Salvadoran gangs are trying to evolve into guerrillas. 6. Thousands of teachers march in southern Mexico against education reform. 7. Hundreds march and demand justice after 51 years of the Halconazo in Mexico, the Corpus Christi massacre of 10th June 1971. 8. Witchcraft for all tastes. In Mexico, millions of people believe with witchcraft and have incorporated it into their lifestyle, from simple techniques to remove a baby's hiccups with a red thread or to find out if a woman is pregnant. to rituals where sacrifices are allowed in order to obtain a benefit. Rumors of war. Alexa says that the World War would start on November 23, 2023, at 6:05 p.m. when Russia would launch an attack against Germany. This is a joke, of course. Second, Alexa is a virtual assistant developed by Amazon, first used in Amazon Echo smart speaker. Third, Sorjafal writes that KGB combat psychics warned about Biden's unstable mind. 4. Russia steps up its attack in southern Ukraine by launching cruise missiles from the Black Sea. 5. Russia is deploying 50-year-old tanks in Ukraine, which is not a great strategy. 6. Kiev is exhausting its military resources and the West is promising more weaponry. 7. The Treasury Secretary proposes a global bloc to limit Russian oil revenues. 8. China warns the US that it will not hesitate to start a war, in quotes, if Taiwan declares independence. 9. China sets Russia straight about its relationship, saying Beijing has never supplied material to Moscow since the war. 10. Iran launches missile attack on US military airbase in Erbil, Iraq. And that's all for today. Thanks a lot, dear friends.